Okay, guys. So we had a lot of fun with all the code. Now, what we wanted to do is, I want to introduce you to another AWS service called Relational Database Service. Relational Database Service is what you use if you want to get any relational database services. If you want to get any of the relational database services, yes, it supports 6 databases. So if you want to install MySQL, okay. So as you might know, one way to install MySQL, for example, is you got your EC2, log into your EC2, and then download your MySQL and install it. Absolutely, there's no one will stop you from that. But that is not a managed service, meaning you are responsible for everything. Amazon is giving you just the infrastructure. So you are responsible for maintaining that database. You are responsible for taking the nightly backups or subsequent snapshots. You are responsible for all of that. If you want to architect it in such a way that if you want to multi-AZ deployment, meaning if you want your database to span across multiple availability zones, it's all your headache.
Venkat?
And then licensing is your headache. Yes, sir.
I think your machine is going to run out of battery.
Oh, thank you. Let me check. Okay, so that's your headache. And licensing for MySQL. I know MySQL is open source, but let's say Oracle. So it's all your responsibility, right? If you spin a new EC2 instance and then if you install Oracle on it, you are responsible for everything there. Instead of that, instead of you managing everything, Amazon is providing you a managed service. It is a managed service for relational databases. What it means is Amazon takes care of all the low-level stuff. You don't have to worry about operating system level patches. You don't have to worry about nightly backups. It will automatically take care of it. In fact, there is a production version of some of these databases where it will automatically spread across or span across multiple availability zones so that you are not hurting your availability when one availability zone is down. Your database is still up and running. But when you say managed service, what it means is you will not be able to log in at the operating system level. You will never be able to log in to the underlying virtual machine. Like how you are able to log into your EC2, you will not be able to log in if you're using relational database service. So that's why the difference is that relational database service is a managed service where you will be able to create a database and you'll be able to set up your backup window, etc. But Amazon automates a lot of things for you. You don't have to worry about it. Amazon manages it for you. Amazon manages the license also. You don't have to worry about paying to Oracle. It's already included in your RDS pricing. That is relational database service. It supports 6 databases. I'm going to show that to you in a second. But that's essentially the relational database service. So go to services and it should be in the database area. See that? You have multiple databases. And the most important one is relational database service. Well, Amazon has its own non-relational database called DynamoDB. This is equivalent to your MongoDB or your SimpleDB, Google's big table, and SimpleDB equivalents. This is called DynamoDB. Okay, But this is non-relational, but relational database service is a big one. So click on relational database service. Okay, you don't have any database at this point. Go ahead and click create a new database. So it's asking you whether you want to do it in a standard create way or easy. Let's go with the standard route, and I'll show you all the options there. So Amazon's relational database service, as I said, it's a managed service where you will not be able to log into the underlying virtual machines. I want you to really understand that. And it supports 6 databases only. It doesn't support something like your IBM DB2 or Informix or any of these previous generation databases. It doesn't support. It only supports 6. Amazon Aurora is Amazon's own relational database service. They're pushing Amazon's own relational database. They're really pushing towards this. It's a super fast, low latency relational database, but it's decent expensive also. MySQL, MySQL, and MariaDB is another database. It's pretty much one branch of MySQL, and then they updated it. That's MariaDB, and you've got PostgreSQL, and then you have Oracle and Microsoft SQL Server. So all the popular ones are covered. So I want to install MySQL here. Click on MySQL, and then edition, my community edition. I want MySQL community edition version. I'll go with the default. It doesn't matter really. Okay, if you can find out any known issues or limitations that you have. Templates. Do you want a production scale version or dev test environment, or for this purpose, obviously I'll go with the free tier. Okay, if I go with the production version, actually I can show you that. I'll quickly delete it, not a big deal. So I'll show you a production version, but you please select free tier so that you don't pay any additional charges. So I'll take the production grade 1 and settings, database instance identifier. What do you want to call this database as? I'll call this database as, so we are building a weather service, right? So let's call this as weather DB. I'll call it weather DB, something like that. Okay, this is your DB instance identifier, meaning this is your database instance. Credential settings. So give me your master username and password. I'll give my username and password for this particular database. DB instance size, I'll take a standard class, includes M classes. Okay, standard classes. Oh, if you want memory optimized, obviously, you remember that, right? We have a memory optimized, CPU optimized, GPU optimized. There are various instance types. Okay, something that starts with C, CX large, CX medium, CX small, etc., etc. So compute those are all, C stands for CPU or compute optimized. And then you have R. R is RAM optimized memory. So, you can go for compute optimized or memory optimized or bustable classes. I'll go with the standard one. Standard class is a DB.M5X large. I don't need this M5X large. I'll take something simple. T2 micro is fine, or even T2 small. T2 small is 2 gig RAM. I'll get it. With micro, you'll get 1 gig RAM. Maybe I'll go with 2 gig RAM, but you please go with only free tier. Okay. I just wanted to show you what all options available for you guys. Storage, provisioned IOPS. Provisioned IOPS is the fastest. It gives you fastest read write, as you guys know. No, I'll go with the general purpose SSD, and then it's 20 gig to start with. Minimum 20 gig, maximum 1.6 terabytes, and then it will improve it. It will automatically get adjusted. So maximum storage threshold, I can put it as the database grows, it automatically grow from 20 to 1000 automatically. You don't have to keep adding hard disks or any of the volumes. Everything is taken care automatically. So don't worry. Enable storage auto scaling. That's what it does. If you don't do that, then you are stuck with whatever you got it. Okay. So all of this is included in your billing. So you don't have to worry about it. You'll get a single bill based on the usage, not based on what you selected here. If you're using 50 gig, you'll pay for 50 gig. If you're using 500 gig, you'll pay for 500 gig. Availability and durability, this is important. So I want multi-AZ deployment. When you say multi-AZ deployment, obviously, select create replica in different zone to have Amazon RDS maintain a synchronous standby replica in a different availability zone than a DB instance. So if your DB instance is one availability zone, then it will maintain a read replica. It creates a replica in different zone so that it will automatically synchronously maintain the data between those two. So when one availability zone is down, then your database is not affected. Your application's availability is not impacted. Okay, we must do this for all your production grade applications. Okay, create a standby instance. Yes, I want to create a standby instance. It's recommended for production usage. What it means is obviously, there is an additional database that's it's acting as standby.
Quick question here, Venkat.
Yes.
So if I select multi-AG, if my database size is say 500 GB, that means you're creating another 500 GB database.
That's correct. That's correct.
Am I paying for 500 GB or 1 terabyte?
No,
now?
you're paying for both.
You're paying for both, right?
Yep.
And also by creating this additional standby, I'm paying for another 500 GB. Now I'm paying for 1.5 TB. Am I correct or wrong?
No, why?
Because see, for a multi-AG, you're creating 2 databases.
No. I want you to understand. Multi-AZ deployment, as part of this section of the multi-AZ deployment, it is asking, do you want me to create a standby instance or you don't want me to? So if you say create a standby instance, then it will create a standby instance in a different availability zone than it is right now.
So the other one will be only in a read-only mode, or it will be read and write?
No, it will not even create any standby.
Okay.
So if you want a standby instance, this is like a active passive architecture styles, right? So one of them will be active, both of them will not be active. One of them will be active, the other one will be in standby mode. When things go south with the active database, then it will fall back to the standby. But there is a continuous replication going on between these two. Make sense? So you are paying for your question, you are paying for 500 plus 500. That's your availability and durability. And now you're going to connectivity. Virtual private cloud. Well, we'll talk about VPC next week. But yes, please select your default VPC, because we only have default VPC at this point. By default, every account comes with its own default VPC. What it means, how do I create a new VPC? We'll talk about it in the next week. So connectivity, additional connectivity configuration. Do you want to make this database publicly accessible? Absolutely no. For all practical purposes, for all good reasons, you do not want your database to be accessed by anyone but your application layer, your web servers or application servers. That's all. But I want to, because I know I'm creating a production one, but I want to make this publicly accessible because I want to show you how it works. Okay. So I want this publicly accessible. If I make this publicly accessible, then it will create a public IP address. Otherwise, it will not create. Okay. So then VPC security group, do you want me to select existing security group or create a new security group? Let me see what I have it. Do I have anything with database security group? Yes, I have a database security group. If you want to create a new one, go ahead and create it. What it does is it will open up this 3306 port to my IP, to my public IP only. So I can call this guy as, this is a relational database service, right? Okay. RDS security group. Okay. This is for MySQL though, because then 3306 port will be open to my IP, my home IP. Okay. So it will automatically do it. Database authentication, password authentication. Yes. Do you want, how do you want to connect to your database? Well, password authentication. That's, very natural way of doing it, or common way of doing it. Maybe that's the right word. Additional configuration. So when your database is created, do you want it to create any default schema? Yes. And what are we calling this database as? Database, we are calling it as WeatherDB, if I'm not wrong. So I'll call this as, my schema name is weather. I'll call this schema as weather. I'm sorry. Where are you? Yep. I'm calling this additional schema called weather. And then DB parameter group, default, whatever the default is. Okay, take a look at this one now. Backup. Create a point in time snapshot of every database. Enable automatic backups. Enabling backups will automatically create backups for your database during a certain time window. So it will automatically do a nightly backup. You can mention what time you can do it. Please note that automated backups are currently supported for InnoDB. Okay, that's difference. Note, backup retention period. How many days do you want to keep your backups? 7 days? Sure. And backup window, you can specify based on your client preferences. You can say that, start at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. UTC. Yeah. Oh, UTC 2 a.m. is what? ETC is what? 10 p.m. maybe?
Yes, 10 p.m. Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. Thank you. So which is 22 p.m. 22 p.m. and keep it for half an hour. Okay. So it will automatically take the backup with at this time. So midnight 2 a.m. my time. It will stop the database, and the application will not be available. I want you to understand that. It's an important question also. So application may be disrupted because your database will be stopped, and then take a backup, and then it will quickly bring it back up.
We cannot take online backups, Venkat, here?
Online backups, the backups, it will stop the database, Ravi. Your database will be stopped. So online backup meaning you are without having to stop the database, huh?
Yeah, because that's how, right, most of the backups works. I mean, in a production environment, we don't typically stop any databases. We basically configure such a way, either we take online backups or online incremental, online archive logs, everything will be pretty much online.
So this, in AWS terms, there are two kinds of backups. One is backup, the other one is snapshots, right? So once you enable backup, only this window, at this window, it will stop and take the complete full backup. So after that, for every 5 minutes, I believe it's a default snapshot interval. So whatever happens between that 5 minutes, it will continuously take the snapshot every 5 minutes, and then database will not be stopped. But only for the nightly backup, it will stop it.
Oh, but okay. Anyway, so one more question I have is, so okay, now when you're taking a backup, that means it's taking a backup for your entire database.
Exactly.
Is that like additional cost again for that?
Yes, obviously it will. I mean, it is part of your RDS pricing. Taking a backup is part of your RDS pricing. But if you want to keep it for, let's say, for your regulatory reasons, 360 or 34 is max. 35 days is max, looks like. So if you want to keep it for 35 days, it's going to store somewhere as a snapshot, right? And you have to pay for the snapshot. If I say 35, okay, and every day, let's say your database size is 1 terabyte, then you're keeping it for 35 days. Every single day, it's a full backup. So 1 terabyte every day, 35 days, 35 terabytes, it's going to put it in a snapshot, then you have to pay for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, what is amazing here is, say, at least from my standpoint, I mean, if a business is 24/7 critical and 7 days a week, that will definitely impact business, right? Whatever time it is going to take. Yeah, for small database, I understand it will be quick backups. For a larger database, if my database is around 10 terabytes, 12 terabytes, it typically takes 8-9 hours to take a backup. I mean, does it make sense what I'm asking, or
Yes,
doesn't make sense?
yes. So, I mean, there are several ways. So, actually, in multi-AZ times, if you want to keep it completely available, right? So, what we typically do, any of the enterprise scale applications, right? Like what you're talking about, what they do is they'll continuously, the replication will be continuously going from your standby to replica database. Okay. So what happens is when you want to take the complete backup, then you can shift the traffic to the replica database, and then it will do it. You know what? That's can AWS do it automatically? You know
I
what?
mean, my understanding is usually when it happens, a replication. I mean, I'm not sure about MySQL, at least from an Oracle standpoint. Any replicated database will not be in open state. So the archive logs will keep on applying. Technically, like for example, if you're taking a data guard or something, I don't know whether. Sorry for going into deep, but
no worries. So that's see, Oracle Data Guard, right? So in that case, yes, your replicated database is not available for you even to read it. Okay, but there are some other architectures like your master, right? Your Cassandra cluster, and or Oracle has this Golden Gate solution where both the databases, your replicated database is available and your production database is available. So backup. We'll get back to this one. Okay, this specific one. We'll get back to this one. But I know what you're talking about, and that's the architecture. I'm very familiar with it. The data guard, we use the data guard only. Let's get back.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yep. So you can specify your backup, and then your enable encryption. Do you want to encrypt at rest? If you want, you can do it. And if you want to encrypt, by default, what key do you want to use it? Well, you can delegate this to AWS RDS. You can have AWS use their own master key to do it. Probably, I will talk about, maybe if not in the class, I will do a video on this encryption piece. It's an important aspect. So maybe, I'll do a separate video on what kind of encryptions available, and the AWS master key versus your own master key, and etc. Okay, but essentially, 1 second, sir. But essentially, the point here is that using the encryption, your data will be encrypted at rest. Encrypted, it gets automatically encrypted in transit anyway. Okay, but you are encrypting it at rest. So when the data is available in a hard disk, also, even if somebody gets access to that hard disk, they can't do anything about it. That's the main idea there. Go ahead, sir.
I mean, suppose you are right now with RDS and you change your mind, you want to move it to somewhere else. Can you do that?
Okay. Can you repeat that?
So if right now you have your database with RDS, right?
With
And
RDS, yes.
Yeah. So tomorrow you change your mind, you want to move it out somewhere.
Mm.
Can you do it?
Absolutely, because you have your complete snapshot, right? Take your snapshot. That's your copy. You can take it wherever you want.
Okay.
But that will be when you say like different means you're expecting a different database or a same database.
Different.
If it's a different database, then it will be a database migration. Then
I don't think he means from MySQL to, let's say, Aurora.
Oh, okay.
That's not what he meant. I believe what I understood his question was if he wants to take it from AWS to Azure or AWS to in-house on-prem.
Correct.
On-prem MySQL, then absolutely you have your snapshot, go put it. That's your regular MySQL snapshot, so you can bring it on. Absolutely. So yep, monitoring, that's about encryption. You can encrypt your data at rest, and this is your monitoring. You can enable enhanced monitoring. You do it only for your production system, production grade applications, not for anything. So granularity is 60 seconds, meaning every 60 seconds. We talked about CloudWatch, right? Your CloudWatch monitoring will be enabled. And the log exports. So your audit logs, error logs, all of this, if you want to export, if you want to use it, your Amazon CloudWatch logs, you can do that. If you want to do it in error logs, then error logs will appear in Amazon CloudWatch logs. Okay. IAM role, do you want your RDS to assume anything? The following service linked role is used for publishing logs to CloudWatch roles. Okay. So apparently it uses this role to publish into CloudWatch. That's all it means. Maintenance, enable auto minor version upgrade. Do you want to, when MySQL upgrade, any of the patches happen, do you want Amazon to do it automatically? So enable auto version upgrade so that you don't even know that there is an upgrade happens, minor version. I highly recommend you do it. And maintenance window. Select the period you want pending modifications or maintenance applied to the database by RDS. If at all Amazon decided that, it needs to take the underlying virtual machine for a maintenance, and then do you have any specific maintenance window? You can specify that. And finally, deletion protection. Enable deletion protection. So if I enable deletion protection, I'll not be able to delete this database. I don't want it because I want to delete this probably right after this class. Okay. And then estimated monthly costs. So I'll be paying for this particular database, I'll be paying $52 a month. Okay. Because I selected production grade and enable automatic backups. If I take it, still $51.94. If I take production grade, if I go to dev and test, you can reduce your T2 micro. See, I selected T2 small, right? Now I can, if I select it to T2 micro, my cost will go down a bit from $51.90 something. Now I got $27. Okay. But you all select free tier eligible, and it's free for 1 year. Okay. Create database.
Venkat.
Yes.
So if I have to, let's say I have to build, let's say, indexes every night, or I need to run a specific job like update stats, I realize that my data is, I have a large database, and obviously that tables needs to be indexed pretty much every day or once a week. How do we specify that particular maintenance job on this database? Like I need this particular.
You can't.
We can do that.
No, Amazon doesn't help you with that. You have to do it. You just log in, you write your script, you write a custom script, log into the database, apply your indexes or anything. It does not know anything about your table structure, your indexes, any of the database objects. It's only managing the underlying virtual machine and also the database software.
Okay, so besides that, the database schema and data table,
You
everything
own
we
it.
are maintaining. Okay.
You own it, and database does not even get access to that.
Okay.
Sorry, AWS does not even get access to that.
Okay.
Okay. So don't worry about it. You have to do it, and AWS does not do it. So that's about it. While this database is getting created, I'm assuming you all have some sort of SQL clients. So let's go take a look at it. This is a weather DB that we created it, and once that is available, we will get the public endpoint here, and the port is 3306. As we know, the security group. Let's see, security groups. We'll wait for the database to be complete. Okay, it's still coming up. It takes some couple of minutes. Amazing, you are able to create a database in just less than a minute. Minute or 2 minutes.
Quick question, Venkat. I might have missed this. So do we get charged for all the read and writes into the database?
Do you get charged for all the reads and writes of the database? No, this is with your RDS service, it automatically taken care.
Sure.
Yep.
Did you say the price is based on the size of the database?
That's correct. That's correct.
Oh, okay.
It's not so much on the hard disk size, but rather it's on instance size, because hard disk size, exactly. It's definitely, if it's something like a C4X large, if you take it, you'll end up paying $200, $300, or maybe more than a month. So if you go with the provisioned IOPS, for example, you will get up to 3,000 IOPS, input output per second. That is the highest you can get. I think you can get up to 6,000 IOPS. And you know what it means? It's a lot of writing into the database and a lot of reading. It's a fastest you can get, but you'll be paying in thousands. So you have to be very, very careful.
Okay.
Ravi,
and the encryption is also not the channel encryption, right? So it's the entire instance is being encrypted. So
it's the option that we selected. It's encryption at rest. So the complete data in hard disk will be encrypted using Amazon's own master key. So one of these days, probably I'll create a video on what is a master key, what is a data key, and how encryption typically works, and how AWS handles it, and what exactly is mean by AWS master key versus customer master key. I'll talk about it one of these days.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
If not, I'll at least post a video. So this is your endpoint URL, guys. 1 second, Ravi. I'll take your question in a second. So this is your database host name. Again, you will never be able to log into the underlying virtual machine like how you have been logging into your EC2 machine. You will never be able to do it. This is the best you can do. Only this with your databases. But that is why it's a relational database service. It's a managed service. You are not managing it. Amazon is managing for it. So you are not paying individually for, EC2 instance, this much you have to pay. For your Oracle license, this much you have to pay. You're not paying any of that. It's all included in that cost. Make sense? That's why they call it managed service. Okay. This is your database host name. This is your port. And let's take a look at the security group and see if, okay. Looks like 3306 RDS SG MySQL inbound rules. 3306 port is open to my IP range, to my home. Okay, to my public home. Sorry, my public IP. Got it. Okay, Ravi, go ahead.
No, I mean, I think I know what it is. So because I saw it on the top, I'm kind of comparing with my production environment. But anyway, so what is, when you go back to the database, there is a restore from S3. So what my thought process is, when you're taking a backup, is it taking just a snapshot?
Yes, that's what it is, right? And then it will, all the snapshots are already stored in S3.
So technically, it's not a nightly backups. It's continuously taking snapshots. Then, am I wrong?
Oh, one second. So the nightly backups are a full backup, correct? You are taking that backup as a snapshot at that point in time at, let's say, 2 a.m., right? 2 a.m. on April 5th, this is my data. And then it's taking that and put it out there, in your snapshots, and all the snapshots by default going to S3. Okay. So your full backup is in S3 now. Now, after that, continuously every 5 minutes, it takes the incremental snapshots and then throw it out there also. Now you ask me, if you have at a point in time your backup followed by, let's say, 10 snapshots, you take the latest one and then point that location here, it will be able to replicate your database based on the data that it has. Does it make sense?
Yes, Venkat.
Go ahead.
I'm not able to see logs anyway. So anyway, thank you, Venkat.
Yep. So let's go ahead and so this is your this is your endpoint. So I'm assuming all of you, Sindhu, did I answer your question? You were asking something, or someone else? Okay. If anybody has any questions, you can ask now, or let's do this one. This is your host name and this is the port name, right? So copy it and go use your SQL developer or MySQL Workbench or your favorite, whatever your favorite SQL client is, okay? The one I installed was SQL developer. So maybe I'll show you this guy. SQL developer. See, Oracle SQL developer is a SQL client mainly for Oracle, but Oracle bought MySQL, so it supports both of them. But through a simple, what you have to do is, it doesn't support MySQL right off the bat. What you have to do is you need an additional connector, JDBC connector. So you have to Google for, once you install your SQL developer, please Google for MySQL connector Java. You can do it Maven, or yeah, you can do this. You can do this also. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. You get the jar file, but this is actually, he's specifically saying for your Java code. So you can even download this guy, or if I want to show you that MySQL SQL developer download for Windows, right? When you go there, so it's showing you your Windows 64-bit with JDK included. If you already have JDK, please do not select that. Rather select this guy here, and then it also click on downloads, I believe. MySQL. Click on MySQL. So you need connector, MySQL connector. Click on this guy. Wherever this connector is, MySQL connectors. I believe it's the same. So you will get your zip download. This guy. So you got your SQL developer. By default, SQL developer supports only Oracle, but you get your connector for MySQL. And then once you get it, see that?
I think Venkat, this is the documentation.
What's that? Oh, you sent me something?
I think what you downloaded was a documentation.
Oh, what I downloaded was documentation. Okay, sure. We can download the actual guy. Where is it? Oh, these are all the documentation. Oh, sorry. MySQL connectors. Documentation. Okay. Where is the download guy? MySQL connector Java. dev.mysql.com. Sure. This is okay. This is a good one. So platform independent anyway. Platform independent archive tar. No, we want zip. Click on this guy. And then nope. Thanks. Just start my download. This is your MySQL connector. So once you open MySQL connector, this is how it looks. I don't want to. I'll show you how it looks. See environment. So MySQL connector looks like this. And inside that, all we need is the jar file. That's all. We need one jar file, this MySQL connector. So open your SQL developer, go to tools, preferences, and then to make it support MySQL database also, you go to database and then click on third-party JDBC drivers. By default, you will not have this one. So all you have to do is add entry and then select your SQL developer. Sorry, not SQL developer. You know what I'm saying? 1 second. Environment, SQL connector, select this jar file and then select it. Then click OK. That's it. So once you do that, then it will support both Oracle. By default, it supports Oracle. And now it will support MySQL also. Click on your plus here. Now you want to create a new database connection. 1 second, it's paused. Yep, new database connection. Click on this guy. And now database type Oracle. Now you will have option. By default, if you don't do that, if you did not set up that connector, then it will only show Oracle. So you want it to show MySQL also. So now I'm saying whether DB on EC2. What's the username? Well, I gave my admin username, all right? And now I gave the password. And what is your host name? Well, Amazon gave you that host name. This is the host name. Take that host name, take the port 3306 and do a test connection first. Success. Now connected. It's asking for the password again. If you do not have, if any of you have not done RDS, I highly recommend you do it. But if you do not have it, I can share, I can change my security group and then expose to everybody. Then you can, I'll share my admin password, username and password, and then you'll be able to connect to my database. That's one way to do it. Understand? So let me know if you need that help. Anyways, so this is our database, guys. And this is our schema, right? So what I will do is I'll create a new table here. Create table. Yes.
So, I mean, can you, show where you set the password?
My password, huh? Actually, first.
No. I mean, what I'm saying is, you entered the admin and the that login and the password, right? So where did you get that from? I don't know.
When I create the database here, standard MySQL, right?
Yep.
So here, you would have entered your username and password. See here, master password, confirm password.
Okay, understood. All right, yeah, that's all. Okay, thanks.
Yep. Okay, So now I'm creating a new table here called whether I will say temp lookup, yeah, temperature lookup essentially, right? Create a new table. Give me the zip is my key, and then what's the other one? Temperature. Okay, looks like oh, there's one more I missed, so it did not get created. Now table got created. Okay, table got created. Now we can do select star from. You can check your weather tables. It will tell you that temperature lookup table. Okay, zip and temperature. There is no data here. Okay, so that's all. My intention is some code will read the CSV file from S3 and it will populate into the database so that my weather service will always look up from the database. That is my intention, guys. My weather service will always look up, but the data feed service guy, it will be called only once, once every 6 hours, because in my use case, we get the feed, we get the CSV file from government every 6 hours, and some analyst will upload it to S3 and it will call a service. That service will take the CSV from S3 and then dump the data into database. Make sense? Any questions at this point before I dive in and then connect all the dots together?
Venkat?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, anyway, we are connecting to our local database, right? Like it is a physical database. Why do we need still backups in the AWS level? I mean, I'm not sure why we are taking backups again, because anyway we are connecting to our local, right? Because you pointed it to your local.
1 second. Where did you see local?
I mean, this database is not in your local desktop. Is it in?
No.
Oh,
Kalyan,
maybe.
This is just the SQL client. My database is EC2. I am connected to EC2 database. I don't have database in my local machine.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed
This
that
is
one.
just a
Okay,
SQL client. If anybody has the same question, guys, this is just a SQL client. So in your office, how do you connect to your database? Using some Toad or SQL developer or something like that, right?
Correct. Yeah.
You don't have database in your local machine. You are connecting to a database that sits somewhere else, right?
Okay. Yeah, I got it. I thought anyway you install in your local and pointed from that instance.
Then there is no point in it. Take a look at this one. Take a look at the connections, right?
Yeah. Now I understand. Maybe I was a bit out for a few minutes from screen. So yeah. Got it.
Okay. No.
Okay. Yeah, now I understand how you are doing. Thank you.
Everybody understand? I was trying to. Oh, sorry. Whether this guy, right? Yeah. I want to look at the properties. Take a look at this, Kalyan. So this is the property. This is the admin, and it's better to save the password probably, so that it will not ask me again and again. Test it.
Yeah, I understand this one.
So,
sorry.
No worries. See, take a look at this one here. This is the database name. See this one? weatherdb.cclemdwrqdns.us east, whatever this one is. That's our database. Make sense? This is the database host name. Where did we get it from? We got it from this guy. So let me make sure I say that, okay? What we just did is we created a database in the cloud in AWS. In your local machine, we installed a SQL client using which we are connecting to the database in the cloud in AWS. So this is the database host. This is Amazon gave us automatically, and the port is this one. Make sense? Now select star from whatever that table name is. What is that called? temp lookup, weather.temp lookup table. Temperature lookup, that's what I mean. Oh, is this one? Okay, so this is my table. Now we connected using a SQL client. Now can we connect using a simple Java code also? Okay, I'll show you how to do that. Very simple. So what I'll do is I'll create a simple repository, a DAO, right? So I'll call this as a data feed, weather data feed repository. It's a repository pattern, that's why I call it. It's RDAO. You guys know it probably. All the Java people, all the DAOs, data X objects, all the database code will be inside this these classes. Okay, now I want to have a, actually let's go to Maven. In POM, I have a Spring Starter Web, but I don't have a Spring Starter JDB data. Let's say Spring data JDBC. If you want to use JDBC template, I want to use a simple JDBC template. It's one way to connect to the database using your Java-based applications. It's a simplest way. So I'm using this one. And then when you use this one, do you guys know where you have to provide your details, like your database details and all? You have to go to source main resources, application.properties. Here, it expects spring dot data source dot URL. This is your JDBC URL, and this is where your driver class name is, and this is where your username is, and this is where your password is, probably. Yep. So you have to give your database details here in this application.properties. Then your JDBC template, all these details will be injected into your data source, and that data source will be injected into your JDBC template. Okay, so let's construct this one. Database driver class name, this one. You don't have to, your username is our admin, whatever I created it, and my password, I know that. This is my password. If you guys are using it, no, you'll not be able to use it until I change my security group, but this is my password. Driver class name, I will pull this driver class name and data source URL somewhere from Google. MySQL JDBC URL, okay. Yep, this is the one. You can use it. So this is my JDBC URL, JDBC : MySQL : your database host name. What's your database host name? Let's get it from, we created one in the cloud, right? So go ahead and connect to this guy, and port is 3306 dash, what's your default schema? Default schema to be weather. And what's your driver class name? Your driver class name should be com oracle, sorry, not. Is there anything like that? Nope. MySQL JDBC driver class. Okay, this is the guy. Com MySQL JDBC.driver. It's that simple. So the reason I'm doing Googling exclusively and explicitly is because I don't want you to feel that this guy knows and he's able to do it. No, this is like 30 seconds Googling for anybody. Just understand the concept. This is all pretty much available everywhere. Okay, so please don't get don't get scared with this. So your repository stuff, your repository, your JDBC template will have to be injected. JDBC template. It gets auto-wired. Now I'll have two methods here. One is the first method is populate. Public void populate feeder into database. This guy will get the CSV file from S3 and do it. But let me see if I can unit test it with a simple JDBC template dot execute or update, I think. Okay, this is update SQL arguments. Okay, so let me do my SQL. My insert SQL will be insert into weather dot, what's the table name? This guy. So weather dot temperature lookup values of question mark, comma, question mark. These are parameters. I'm passing it. So this is my SQL query, and I'll be passing as an argument. Let's say I'll pass dummy values to start with. I'll call 48012, and then temperature is 89 degrees F, something like that. Okay. I just want to test it before we plug this in with S3 and all that stuff. Okay. Now I want to write a simple unit test. Go to your source test Java, source main Java, source test Java. I'll call this guy as new and you can do it using at Spring Boot test, I think. Yeah. Now I'll create a new test method. Okay. I want to test it. Now I want this repository to be injected. I hope this is all pretty straightforward, and I know what you guys typically do. It may not be hands-on, but okay. DAO dot populate feed into database. I'll call this guy and then try to unit test it. Run as JUnit test. Let's see if it works. Okay, it failed. Cannot load driver class com MySQL JDBC driver. Oh, okay. So it read our class, our application that properties com MySQL JDBC driver. I couldn't find a class. What does it mean? Meaning my connector is not found. So I did not give my connector in MySQL in POM XML. So let's go give that MySQL connector guy. So MySQL connector Maven, Java, sure. Maven, go to Maven, get the latest one, whatever this one is. Okay, I'll copy that guy. And what's this connector, guys? This is what will give the driver class. I removed the version number because by default you'll get that. I don't want to override that, and that's it. I'll make this code available. Don't worry. If I'm going too fast, please let me know. I'll go slowly. And yes, code has been executed. So that means this test data would have been inserted 4801 to 89 degrees F. So let's go test that guy. Yep. So my local Java code has inserted a row in the database in MySQL database that's in AWS. Make sense, guys? Okay, this is to, I unit tested it. Now I will complicate things, okay? This is unit testing it. Now I will complicate the things. How do I complicate the things? Now I don't want to hard code the data. I rather want to take the data from CSV and then insert into this, right? So we wrote something earlier, right? To do that, I'll just reuse it. Is it S3 util or weather service? Which one? Where did we write? No, I think it's weather service. Okay. So weather service is doing all of this, right? So what I'll do is, well, again, I never claimed this is a production grade. So I want you to understand that, please. So we don't write this kind of code in production. Lot of good principles, practices have to be done. Okay, go to weather data CSV, get it, and CSV format, go get that guy. Oh, what happened? Unhandled exception, sure. Add throws to this guy, no. And then we get the map, nice map, okay? So from nice map, what do I want to do now? Ideally, I want to do a batch update, right? But I can do a batch update. Yeah, I'll make it simple. This guy dot entry set probably. So for each guy, for each entry, app dot entry, I think is it what it is. Okay. What I'm doing is I'm looping through the all the map, okay, and then I'm inserting it. I'm writing some lousy code to make it simple. Entry dot key, and then entry dot value. That's it. This is lazy coding. Okay, this is, I'm inserting this. Let's say I have a million records here in a million zip codes, and then I'm calling this JDBC a million times. It's a wrong way. You want to do it batch updates and several other strategies to do it, but you understand that this is not a Java, performance tuning or best practice or anything. It's a concept is different. So yeah, that's it. Populate, it's that simple. You populate that guy. Now, let me expose this as a REST endpoint, right? Weather data feed, because our nList is going to call this endpoint, right? So what I'll call this guy is different controller. I'll call this as a weather data feed controller. REST controller. Public void populate data, populate weather data. And now, Ketan, now what should I use? Should I use HTTP get or HTTP put post something?
Sorry, Venkat, I get distracted for something. Okay, can you please repeat? I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying, no, I'm populating the data into database. So should I use HTTP get or?
Of course, it is your populating is getting from the UI to database, so it's going to be get only.
No, I'm giving the data, I'm updating the server, so it should never be get. Get is to get something from server, okay? At put mapping, I think I'll do a HTTP put. At request mapping, okay. Actually, I can replace this guy if I'm not wrong. Yeah, And pretty much that's it. So what I'm doing is, if I want to call this REST endpoints, I have to do an HTTP put. How do you do HTTP put? Or HTTP post is also fine. Post is for new entities, put is for to update. Since I'm updating, put makes a lot of sense. So how do I do put? How can I call it? Well, you can use any of the tools like Postman or RESTlet or REST clients. There are a lot of tools out there. So I'll call my weather data feed repository, and I'll call this as DAO. Let's auto wire this guy and then say DAO.populate. That's it.
Venkat, I have a question, but I can just wait.
Absolutely. You can ask.
Did you teach Spring too? I mean, do you have any of the older videos like that I can watch?
I did, but definitely not Boot. Boot was not there at the time.
But you did Spring, right? So annotations just to get, because I do support applications, but I didn't work on the development, actual Spring development. So definitely,
no worries, no worries. Oh, they're all over YouTube.
Okay.
I can send you that, but they are in YouTube. Look for my name and you'll get it.
Oh, okay. It's the same channel, right? So maybe all under one channel, maybe.
Yeah, no. This is a different channel, but that one you will find it Java Venkat Hari. That's how you'll find it.
Oh, okay. I go take a look. Thank you.
Yep. So now I'm making a HTTP put call. I'm opening up my Postman. Okay, Postman is a testing tool. Testers use it to test the RESTful web services. And now once it comes up, I will do a HTTP put here to my HTTP localhost 8080/populate/weather data. Actually, that's wrong. There are a lot of REST principles are violated here too. REST taxonomy is supposed to be nouns, not verbs, etc., etc. This is wrong. So please do not take this as a REST course or any other way. Okay. Let me go send it. I got 200. Oh, that's sweet. So what happened just now is when I make a call, it went here and it went into this controller, and this controller class called DAO, and DAO went to using this SDK, it made an S3 call. Okay. And then get the object, which is weather data CSV file, and then loop through it, created a map, and from the map, it inserted the data into the database. Let's see if it really got inserted or not. There you go. All the new data got inserted. So how do we handle the duplicates? Because next time when I call it, I get the duplicates, right? So ideally, I should delete it. Delete all the rows here and then reinsert it. That's the right way to do it. Maybe I'll just do that just for my, before I update it, I'll do a JDBC template dot. Sure, I can do an update again, I'll say. But what if delete is successful and the following statement failed? That's why you have to wrap it with the transaction, all that stuff. But this is nothing to do with it. Delete from where, right? So delete this guy and then insert the fresh stuff. Let's go check. Run as Spring Boot app again. So how many we should have? 6, right? Our data file has only 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, we should only have 5 after I make this call, Postman call. Well, I got HTTP 200 status. That means it's good. Now we should only have 5. Very good. So my data, anytime, this web service will be called by our analyst every 6 hours when they get the fresh data from government. Make sense? And now our real weather service has got nothing. It doesn't know anything about S3. It doesn't know anything. All it knows is it will just read it from the database and then it will expose it. That's all. So let's fix the real weather service. Weather controller, weather service, get no more details from S3. It actually directly goes into database. It doesn't do any of that. It doesn't know any of that. Rather, it goes straight to the database. So I'll write this stuff directly in the service class. You guys have to excuse me. Ideally, I should call again DAOs and all, repositories and all, but I will do in an ugly way. So I'll do it. JDBC template dot execute or query, something like that, right? Query for object. Query for object. Row mapper objects. I'll use something like this. Okay. What's my query? My query is going to be SQL get. I'll say select, give me the temp, I think, from, what is the table? Weather.temp lookup. Temp from weather.temp lookup, where zip equal to question mark. It's a parameter. So I'm giving the SQL and I'm passing this as an argument. And now I'll get the row mapper. And if you guys know, there are a lot of fancier ways to do it, but I took it the simpler route. Oops. Where's my row mapper? I'm using anonymous row mapper Java X Swing. No, this is the guy. Yeah, of string. So go ahead and implement this new implement result set dot row num. Okay, I'll take a result set dot, just say return result set dot get string of what's the column name? Temp, right? Okay, I'm just returning it, and then I'll get the string I'm passing it. I wrote a couple of lines of code to object array. I see. New object array. Your arguments have to be passed like this as an argument, as an object array. That's what it's complaining about. It's some boilerplate, Java boilerplate. That's all, guys. This is, you do it one way or the other. If you're using Java, you are familiar with it. If not, not a big deal. Essentially, we are writing a simple SQL query, send it to the database, and we are passing a zip as an argument, and we are getting the temperature of it, and whatever it is, passing it back. That's all. It's a simple. So weather service, right? Now I'll call the weather controller. Run as Spring Boot app. Now, where is my weather controller? I'll call this guy, and I'll do a HTTP get this time. And for HTTP get, I don't need to use Postman. I can use browser also, but you can also use localhost 8080/weather/zip code. What zip codes do we have here? I don't know, but let's give it a try. 86 degrees. Does it match with our S3 data, guys? Yes, 48083.
Yes.
55108. 55108. Let's test it with 55108. Oh, by the way, you can test the same thing. You don't need Postman for this HTTP gets. You can do it directly in the browser. You'll get the same response. Okay. Now the beauty is, I want to go change the data in S3. Okay. Let's say after 6 hours, I got a new data. I will add more, I change some of the temperatures, and now I'll add more, I'll update I'll update some data, I'll add new data, and let's see how our, oh, in fact, I don't need to stop this guy because these are all independent now. Everyone knows everything. It's so loosely coupled. It's a high cohesive application. So everyone, is separate. So tell me I'm changing the data 48083 to 23 degrees F or some, I'll put some C's, centigrades. Give me some zip codes, guys.
15221.
Thank you. 15221.
Maybe 55 over here.
55F. Okay. Any other zip codes?
48375.
48375. What's the temperature?
Around 55, 56.
Okay. Someone said something, Ravi?
No, 80013.
Is this Australia or what?
No, this is in Denver, Colorado.
Ah, I see. You live there?
Yeah, Srinivas. This is Srinivas.
Oh, Srinivas. Sorry. I thought it's... sorry, Srinivas. How is the weather there?
Okay, it's 51 right now.
Is it 80013?
Yeah.
51F. Okay. So now I got new data here, guys. So what I'm doing is I'm updating it to, I'm updating the data in S3. That's the first step I want to do it, right? My analyst, I'm an analyst now. Government gave me new data. So I'm just, updating it in S3. All I know is to update in S3, and then I'll have to call that service so that your database gets reflected. Does it make sense? This will be called only once every 6 hours. AWS S3 copy weather data CSV into whatever that file is. Sorry, whatever that S3 bucket weather data here, right? This is the guy. S3:/ weather training, next up training weather data. I believe that's how, yeah. Uploading it. Sure. We can verify this. We'll make this guy public and then verify if we have the data. We can check. Do we have this information? 80013. I remember this. So this is Colorado. So yep. Now what do we do? As an analyst, I uploaded the data into S3. Now I was asked to, I don't know why, because I'm not a techie guy, but I was asked to call this. After you upload your new data into S3 bucket, call this one. I don't know what it does, but technically, I mean, being an analyst, I don't know what it does. But it's unfortunately, it's a poor man's event driven, right? So later, when we talk about real event driven architecture and lambdas, we will write a lambda there. That code gets automatically triggered. When you send a new weather CSV file, the code gets automatically triggered. That code will delete the data from the database and then update this guy. Make sense? Whatever we are doing. But you don't have to call this. It will automatically get triggered. Okay, so I got 200. And let me just verify if my data gets changed in the database. 80013, yes, this is Srinivas, 51 degrees. Yes, looks like we got all of that. The data got, and now I can go and verify it. Now I'll use Srinivas zip code, 51 degrees, beautiful. 10408, 63, nice. I mean, you got it. That's it. And what's the last step? You have your complete application up and running. I don't want this to be in my local machine. I want this to be publicly available for everybody. So I'll create the WAR file and dump it into EC2. That's it. Love it. I was excited. I'm excited. It's pretty fun, doing something like this. Something that encompasses everything that we have learned pretty much is always fun. So what we'll do is I will run this guy, clean package. Okay, it's failing because it's not able to delete it because I have guy opened probably. Okay, so now once that is complete, I will go to my target. See projects desktop target. Now I will copy this guy. AWS S3 copy. Desktop WAR file. What? WAR into my bucket name. For the source code, there is a separate bucket. Code deploy. Very good. It's getting updated. Code is getting updated. I mean, it's getting uploaded to S3 after this. We will have to.
EC2, and then EC2 will get it now.
Can you say that again?
Right. And EC2 will get it now automatically.
Not automatically. No, it doesn't get it automatically. You have to pull it, right? Because server is running already. EC2 is already running, so it doesn't know how to get it. We didn't do anything. I mean, we did not automate that part, right?
But Venkat, it is the same file, right? We are updating the same WAR file, right?
You got it. Yep, same WAR file, but we have to log into EC2 and then we have to get it, right? You know what I'm saying? No.
I'm confused because I thought like it's the same WAR file and we are updating the same WAR file on S3. That means EC2 would get it.
No, EC2 does not have a reference to S3. What EC2 is doing is it is copying it from S3 into EC2.
Okay.
That part was not automated. No. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying this is the best way. Okay. It has to. This is part of your deployment, Ketan. In your companies, you have your deployment, right?
Yes.
When you guys go to production, you guys have a deployment, right? That is as part of your deployment. That's what you guys do.
Yep. I got it. I got it, Venkat. I know what I was. Yeah, what I made mistake. I just. Yeah.
Oh, no worries. No. Don't.
I got it. Like I was under the impression directly calling from S3, but I know we deployed that first time. I forget that part.
No.
We deployed that Tomcat on that.
Yep.
I got
this
it.
is I'm now wearing my WebOps guys, like a DevOps guys, and then deploying it. Yes, sir.
Instead of removing and doing it, why don't you just stop? Okay.
Can you say that again? Oh, why are you removing it?
Yeah, I mean, you can just go ahead and do IP, right? Copy IP, so it will automatically.
I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. There's no reason really.
Okay.
Yeah, WAR file, because the WAR file is just a binary. I mean, not a binary really, but it's one file, so I can go ahead and do that. The reason is mainly this is an exploded format. It's already done it, so I'm just being. I'm just doing it for safety. That's all. But there is no reason. I can tell you that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. AWS S3 copy, but lot of DevOps guys, even if you ask them, I think they tend to do that. It's a safer, that's what they call it. Okay, that's how. Copy S3. Where is my S3 bucket? My code deploy and this guy. Nope, I'll rather use this guy. Download it. Test app. Okay, now Tomcat start. Okay, startup. It would have started now. Let's go to EC2 and running instance. This is our public DNS. This guy / 8080 test. What's your zip code, Srinivas? 80 something.
80013.
Thank you. Okay. White label error 500 internal server error. Oh, it's good. You're getting errors. That's a good thing. Oh, can anyone guess why? Without opening the log file. Before opening the log file, can anyone guess what could be based on what we did? I'm opening up the log file. Oops, I'm looking at the access logs. I meant to open Catalina log. Any guesses?
The file extension.
Do you need to restart Tomcat or something?
Database connection.
Database connection.
It says failed to obtain JDBC connection.
Okay, I mean close, but why would that be?
Because the JDBC is not open. I mean, the database is not open to this server.
Yes. Security group. So let's go take a look at it. Security group. Here, Tomcat SG, right? No, not Tomcat SG. We have to, Tomcat guy is trying to talk to the database, right?
Yeah.
So earlier we opened 3306 port, the database port only to my IP.
Correct.
The IP address in my home, right? It is not open to EC2 instance. So EC2 instance is trying to talk to that guy and it denies. So, so what's the fix? Let's go to RDS.
But when you created RDS instance, I thought anything under this VPC will automatically get access, right? Or no?
No. You have to open it up. 3306. No. In fact, you should never do that, Ravi.
No, because when you're creating, right, I thought that it is using same VPC, and I thought I saw an option there. That's why I'm asking.
See this RDS security group MySQL 3306. Go to inbound rules, and inbound rule says that 3306 open it only to this guy. Everyone else by default is denied. Does it make sense? So open 3306 to my home IP. Makes sense. But let's add an additional rule. Again, MySQL MySQL Aurora, they use the same 3306 port, custom. Now I want to open this 3306 port to, earlier we opened, to IPs, right? But I told you something else called, you can open it to another security group. Now I'm opening it to another security group, saying that, where is my Tomcat security group? See this one, Tomcat security group, meaning my Tomcat guys, all the EC2 instances or all the AWS resources that are associated with that security group are allowed to talk to me on 3306 is what this means. Is that very clear to everybody? It's one of the, you need to understand that it's not just giving the IPs. You can give the other security groups, whoever has that particular security group. Now, in this case, the security group name is Tomcat SG. We associated the Tomcat SG to our EC2 instance because that's running Tomcat. Does it make sense? I can go ahead.
It does make sense, but then there are so many ways of securing, right? Like now you have Tomcat, RDS, and you have IAM. How do you get an overall picture of all these different policies? This is too, an enterprise application, how do you manage?
Understood. So look at your, okay, the way we manage is that next week we'll talk about virtual private cloud. Okay, by default, your database will be in its own subnets. Your app servers will be in only subnet. So when you layered it, right, it's very simple actually. If you really look at it, it's so simple. Your web servers are in DMZ, demilitarized zone. Those are the ones that take the web requests from everyone. Only those people need to be able to take the request from anyone else in the world. Now let's talk about the architecture. You have your web servers. Now the next layer is application servers. These application servers should take the requests only from the web servers. So you group all these web servers and stamp them or associate them with a security group called web server security. These are all web servers, DMZ or web server security group. Now allow only that security group. Now all of your app servers, you slap them with a note that these are application servers, meaning they have an application server security group. Application server security group, you allow them to talk to on port 8080, for example, only from web servers. Now let's go to the next level. Next layer is database. Now database has a separate security group, and now you allow only application servers security group. That's what I'm doing here. So I'm doing a Tomcat security group, meaning only my app servers are able to talk to me. No one else can. Does it make sense?
Yep. Basically layering it is the
strategy. Yes. I can actually describe that. Please remind me in just 1 second. Geeta, if you don't mind, I'll layer that in PowerPoint.
Okay.
There you go. I just changed it. When I change the security group rules, they get reflected immediately. That's one of the important questions also. So 80013, does it make sense? 51 degrees, Srinivas? So 76543, 12 degrees, piece of cake. Now, guys, everyone understood that? Now let me answer that in a little elaborate way. So these are all your web servers, the form of servers, right? Form of servers. Okay, these are all your web servers. These are all your app servers. These are all like Apache, but these are all Tomcats. These take requests on 80, but these guys, app servers, take requests on 8080. Okay. And now you have your, where's my database? Let's say this is database. Okay. So now this guy has a security group. This guy has a security group that says that, hey, I'll allow traffic only from the security. These guys, all the app servers will be associated with a security group called app servers. That's it. So this guy will say that my security group, protects 3306. Okay, I will allow 3306 only from these guys. No one else can.
Okay.
Okay. And now if you go look at app servers security group 8080, I'll say that only web servers can talk to me. So only web server security group is allowed to talk to me. The web server security groups, because they have to be in DMZ area, they are open for the entire world, because they are the ones taking the requests from everybody across the globe. Because they use port 80, and port 80, it's a HTTP port, or 443 HTTPS. Make sense?
Yep.
So in fact, it's not complicated. It's a simple in a way.
Yeah, I think when you kind of start layering them, it is definitely manageable. Okay.
Yeah. And what we're going to do in the next session is that we are going to put these guys in a separate subnet, and we're going to put it in a these guys in a separate subnet, and you can't even pretty much ping it. You can't even, you are completely isolated. But everyone else, other tenants within that subnet can talk to each other without any restrictions. That's the idea behind subnets, VPC, and all. We'll talk in the next class. That's a pretty interesting topic too. Okay, guys. So that's, I think I achieved all my 3 goals. Any comments, questions, anything?
It's a good class today, Venkat. Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Venkat. I have a quick question, Venkat.
Yes.
Just wondering, I know you will be just explaining us in the last class. For the certification, do they give a use case like, where you have to develop an end-to-end solution and then upload it to, make it as a AWS solution?
No, it's all pure,
multiple choice kind of thing.
Multiple choice questions, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to do this. And in fact, there are a lot of, I was mentioning since day one, right? There are a lot of Udemy kind of, courses out there. They'll teach you kind of enough, but I wanted to give the complete landscape. It's not just for the certification.
I know, I got it. But just wondering, like, if at all we are planning to take a certification, do we have to be prepared? It's not that cannot be done, but some certifications are like use case resolutions.
No. It's just, but one thing I can tell you though is I give a lot of credit to these AWS guys. It's not like your, Java certification or even TOGAF. I didn't like it.
It's like more
because
hands-on.
This one is very hands-on. Without understanding all the concepts, really you'll not be able to answer.
Go through.
Questions.
Yeah.
No.
I got you. I think
really
practice gives you most of the. I think questions are what you use in the real time AWS administration. I guess. Yeah. Okay. I got it. Thank you.
You all pass. We all pass, but we have to sweat. He'll really make you think. Really, that's his objective, and he changes the questions. They'll rotate it based on how many people got this right. Okay, then if too many people got it right, then they'll change it. Yeah, it's very dynamic.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, it's I give a lot of credit. It's not like any other certifications.
Okay.
It's very interesting, very tough. It's fun.
Yeah, thanks, Venkat. It's a nice class. Yeah, thanks for taking time.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah.
Venkat, can you post the last WAR file?
Absolutely. In fact, I'll post the WAR file, but WAR file will not be fun. I'll post this this app itself. I'll probably rename it to Weather App or something like that, and I'll put it in GitHub and send you the link, guys. The source code. Okay.
Okay.
But you want the WAR file? I can definitely do that. Okay, if you guys don't have anything, thank you guys.
I mean, I'll be trying to do it, I basically do everything, what you said.
Please
but
do
just
it.
as a backup.
Yep. Do it. I mean, you may not, for you especially, Raghu, this one, did I make it public? 1 second, sir. So for you, don't worry about the code, okay? Just explore it, install Tomcat, put it out there, and then, the issues like security group, right? Towards the end, we got it. The issues like that, get it and understand what's happening there, and then try to appreciate all the components out there. Look at it and play with it. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Stay home. Stay.
Thanks.
Oh, Venkat, one last question to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So on EC2 instances, I came across a topic called placement groups.
Yeah, right. That's a kind of you will get one question in the exam also. One of these days I'll do a video and post it out there.
Okay.
If you want an answer right now, I can tell you also.
No, it is okay. It is okay, but
okay.
I'll wait for your video. I don't want to. I know it's been a long hours now anyway. Okay. Thank you, Venkat.
Yep, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Venkat.
Yeah.
Thank you.